All right, so today we're going to talk about study abroad, financial aid, and scholarships. My name is Karen Williams, and I am the Education Abroad Advisor at Drake University, and I work in the Drake Global Engagement Office. So just a little bit more about our staff. So on the study abroad team, there's myself, but then also the coordinator, Nathan Jacobson, and the director, Maria Rohatch. And our office location currently is over on 25th Street, which is near Drake Public Safety, the Drake Communication Office, Ghazali's, which has the Mediterranean food. So we're located kind of in between those two buildings. But during this academic year, we plan on moving into the library. So depending on when you come to visit us, we might still be on 25th Street, or if you visit us potentially next school year, we would be over in the library. So I'm going to talk briefly about program types. And the reason why I'm doing this is because depending on the type of program that you do, it can impact the cost of the program, as well as how your financial aid package applies, as well as scholarship opportunities. So there's really three main types of programs. We have Drake University programs, exchange programs, and affiliate programs. So the Drake University programs, typically, those are considered short-term programs like J-term and May-term. Although going forward, Drake will be offering more semester program options, but right now, Drake programs is kind of synonymous with J-term programs. For exchange programs, those are typically semester abroad programs, but we do actually also have J-term exchange programs and summer exchange programs. So those are options as well. And then affiliate programs are all lengths. So those programs can be short term, so really anywhere from typically the shortest is about 3 weeks, all the way up to an academic year abroad. There is an affiliate fee associated with our affiliate study abroad programs. It's $500 for a semester program and $300 for a short-term program, like a J-term or a summer. Keep in mind also that when thinking about financial aid and scholarships, typically a program abroad has to be credit bearing. So that typically includes your study abroad programs, but some students are interested in doing an internship abroad, service learning abroad, maybe a teaching placement or a pharmacy rotation abroad later on in their academic career. Those programs typically are either like just automatically for credit, like a study abroad program because you're taking courses, but some programs like the internship and service learning, it's optional to get credit for the program. So if you decide to get credit for it, then sometimes that allows you more opportunities for scholarships as well as financial aid. So keep that in mind when looking at programs. So I'm going to start off with general financial aid guidelines that really apply to basically all programs. So when a student, a Drake student, decides to go abroad, you do get to use Drake Financial Aid Awards, including federal and state awards, if applicable, and they apply towards study abroad costs on approved study abroad programs. So just highlighting that if you were to decide to go on a program that is not approved by Drake University, you would not be able to take your aid package with you. Federal student loans, private loans, and Parent Plus loans can also apply to study abroad programs. Really, kind of the only exception that generally takes place in terms of aid applying to study abroad is that federal work-study programs do not apply, since when you were abroad, you would not be able to do your work study. So I'm going to talk about semester study abroad programs first, and then we will move into short-term programs like J-term. So with semester study abroad, students are charged Drake tuition and the cost of the university or program's room and board overseas. But that Drake tuition that you get charged, you are able to apply your Drake scholarships and your aid package, your full aid package, again, minus work study, to the Drake tuition. So really, the amount of tuition that you typically pay to Drake now when you're on campus in Des Moines is what you would pay the semester that you're abroad. Drake does post your room and board charge and other non-educational fees to your Drake student account. So you actually get to pay both your tuition and your overseas room and board charges on your Drake student account. And what I mean by non-education fees, there are other fees typically associated with your study abroad program, such as international health insurance coverage, and sometimes there's additional activity fees or excursion fees that are also built into the program, and those are also added in with your room and board charges. Students must pay application fees and program deposits or security deposits directly to the program. So those are typically paid early on. So obviously the application fee when you're applying is when you submit that fee. And then usually shortly after you're accepted to the program, there is a program deposit or like a housing security deposit that you pay directly to the program. For semester study abroad, there is also the $500 affiliate study abroad fee. But as a reminder, for Drake semester abroad and exchange semester abroad, there is no fee. For Drake J-term and May-term programs, tuition is included in the spring semester tuition. So there's no additional charge for Drake tuition for those programs, which is wonderful. That really can save you quite a bit of money. It sort of feels a little bit like getting tuition credit for free. So we definitely recommend students participating in Drake J-term or May-term programs. Travel costs are associated with those programs though. So if you're doing a Drake J-term abroad, there are travel costs such as airfare, hotels, meals, excursions that are included. So those costs are bundled into a total program cost, and those are posted to your Drake student account. Students must follow payment schedules outlined in the study abroad application. There's usually a waiver that you read regarding financial payments, as well as in your acceptance email to a J-term or May-term program, the payment schedule is outlined. So oftentimes there's a deposit that you pay early on, and there may be some additional payments that need to be made prior to you departing on your J-term and May-term program. Affiliate J-term and summer programs are just a little bit different. I see that I did not update the first bullet point. So the tuition is not included with the spring semester tuition. So keep in mind with the affiliate J-term and summer programs that you're actually attending a university overseas, and so that you do owe tuition to that university. But that is typically included in the overall cost of the program. So keep that in mind. Again, travel costs can be posted to your Drake student account, but in some cases, students also pay the affiliate directly for the J-term or summer program. So we can work with you one-on-one to discuss how best to pay for your short-term program. Students must also, again, follow payment schedules that are outlined by the affiliate partner. So each affiliate, such as AIFS, API, ISA, they have different payment schedules, and they will outline that in their acceptance emails. There's also a $300 affiliate study abroad fee, and that's applied to your account after you commit to your application online. Now you may wonder where to find budget information. So I'm going to show you step by step how to find the cost of programs, both for short-term programs and for semester programs. So if you visit the Drake Study Abroad website, which is www.drake.edu/global/study abroad. On the study abroad homepage, on the right-hand side, you'll notice that there is a program search area. And so you'll want to start there because you have to get to the program level in order to see the cost of specific programs. So when you click on the search programs button, it will bring you to this page here. And so internally in our office, we refer to this as Teradata. That's the name of the software system that we use to manage study abroad applications. So if you ever hear our office referring to Teradata, it is the programs search and program application area for study abroad. So from here, you can do a search for programs located in specific regions or for specific terms. So what I did is I looked specifically for J-term programs. So I selected down here, you can see it says J-term near the bottom. I clicked on that, and then it brought me to a list of programs that we have available well, actually it was for J-term 2021, which is about to, like, in terms of when the term is happening, is coming up soon. But due to COVID, it's actually going to be rolled back, hopefully, to 2022, so 1 year later. But you can see the list of programs that we had available for 2021. And as an example, I clicked on the first program in Austria. And so for short-term programs, when you click on the program name, it will bring you to a brochure that shows you a description of the program, outlining what will be covered in the program, what AOIs might be covered by the specific course that you'd be taking, potential prerequisites for the course, things to think about that are unique to the course. So sometimes it can be physically taxing. So for example, this program in Austria, there was going to be definitely some outdoor walking, but there might be some cross-country skiing, sledding, some other outdoor activities in the wintertime. But you can see near the bottom of the program description that it does show the program fee. So again, this would have been for 2021, so it could be different the following J-term, depending on really just costs of airfare and hotels, et cetera. When we re-review that program, we will update the cost of the program. But you can see for this one, the total cost of the program is $3,900. And then below it lists to a certain extent what is included or not included in the program. So airfare is included in that expense, but some things that are not included would be a student's passport. If they want to check luggage, they would need to personally pay that. And then personal spending money. So if you want to buy souvenirs, etc., that would also be the responsibility of the student to pay for. But otherwise, the program is relatively all-inclusive. So that does again include hotels, usually most meals, if not all meals, entrance to different excursions and sites that you're going to be seeing, transportation locally. So we try to have those fees usually be as inclusive as possible. Now for semester programs, I brought up an example by API. They have a program in Barcelona. So again, if you had searched for semester programs, usually one of the top options listed is Barcelona because it's sorted alphabetically. And so when you click on that program, right near the top of the page, there is this square box that just outlines some of the details about the program. So you can visit the homepage of the program, but there's also something called budget sheets directly on the program page. So you can see the budget for the fall or the spring semester. So I clicked on the spring semester, and then on the following page, I'm able to see the full budget sheet for the API program in Barcelona. Now, the top of the budget sheet is quite variable. And what I mean by that is the tuition that's posted is the general university tuition for a student who enrolled in 2020-2021 school year. But for you, you would have to think of the cost of tuition that you pay, again, subtracting the Drake scholarships and the Drake aid that you receive. So really the cost of tuition that you pay to Drake is what you would plug into this first line item. Now for this program, there would be the $500 affiliate program fee. The room and board charges and health insurance is $4,380 for the semester. If you are living on Drake's campus, Drake's room and board fee does go away the semester that you're abroad. And instead, like with this program, the $4,380 would be applied to your Drake student account. Now the fees listed below are other fees that you should expect based on what previous students have stated. So to just go through briefly, the average cost of airfare for this program from Des Moines to Barcelona is about $1,200. Local transportation using buses and the metro system is about $240 per semester. Estimated meal costs, students have said that they spend about $1,200 a semester for meals. Books cost about $75. The student visa fee is about $350. If you need to order a passport, it's about $175 to order the passport and for mailing it back and forth to the agency. And then students have said previously that they spend about $4,200 on personal expenses. Now, I will say that this personal expense line varies considerably, and I would expect in the short term that potentially those fees would be lower because many students travel quite a bit on weekends. But right now, with just current travel restrictions, if you were to study abroad in the near term, you probably would be doing less weekend travel out of the country. So just potentially it could be a lower fee if you're doing less travel, but we've also had students before who have done extensive traveling throughout the entire semester and their personal expenses have been higher than the average amount. So just keep that in mind based on your personal spending habits, that it could be lower or higher than the average. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about scholarships as well. So Drake has something called Global Learning Scholarships. When you submit an application to study abroad through Drake University, one of the application forms on your overall study abroad application is this scholarship form. So automatically it is built into your application, and we highly recommend that you submit a scholarship application for your study abroad program. Our office awards more than $100,000 annually in scholarships for international programs just to Drake University students. So it is a substantial amount of money. We have 10 different scholarships that are available, and they do specify on different categories, although some are quite broad, but others are more specific. So I've highlighted a few here that are really more specific scholarships. So we do have a scholarship specifically for the Drake Uganda program. We have a scholarship for students traveling to non-European locations. We have a scholarship available for journalism and mass communication students. And we also have a scholarship available if a student is studying on a program where they're going to do coursework that promotes understanding between people of different faiths. And we also have one that is more focused on experiential learning programs. So again, if you were thinking about doing either an internship or service learning abroad, we do have scholarships for those as well. We also have external scholarships that we recommend to students. I've highlighted a few here, but there are so many external study abroad scholarships. So I highly recommend going to our study abroad scholarship page. So at the bottom, you can see the URL to find more information about external scholarships. But a few that I have highlighted here, the Bourne Scholarship and Critical Languages Scholarship awards up to $20,000 for students to study a language deemed critical to US foreign interests. So this is one that is, as you can see, a very large sum of money. It can be either a summer program or students can go abroad. I believe it's for a semester, but we could always do a review of the criteria of these two scholarships. The Gilman Award is also a substantial scholarship, but it's eligible only to students who either have or can receive a Pell Grant from the federal government. So you would have to know whether or not you are Pell Grant eligible. There's also the Fund for Education Abroad. That one has many scholarships for study abroad. The IIE Travel Grant recipients, that was also one that I would definitely recommend. And then studyabroad.com has a scholarships page with many smaller scholarships that are available for study abroad. So just kind of thinking generally about next steps. So making sure that if you are interested in studying abroad, that you apply by the deadline. So typically the deadline is the semester before you want to go. So if you were thinking about going abroad in the spring, our deadline is coming up next week on October 15th. For summer programs, our deadline is usually around February 15th to March 1st. And then for fall and academic year programs, as well as Drake J-term programs, you actually apply during the spring term. So usually around April 1 is kind of a target for fall and academic year, and just a little bit later for J-term. So usually we launch the J-term cycle during the J-term fair in March, and then our deadline is about a month later. If you don't have a passport, make sure you're thinking about that early on. Order either your first passport or renew your passport. And definitely you can always email me with any specific questions related to your criteria. But if you're thinking more about financial aid and scholarships specifically, and I guess actually I really should say the financial aid side of things, Pam Smith is our advisor on campus who works with study abroad students. So if you have questions about a specific study abroad program and how your financial aid package will apply to it, I would recommend reaching out to Pam Smith. But other things related to planning early, make sure you talk with your academic advisor early on, as early as possible, to let them know you're thinking about studying abroad. Whether it is a J term or a semester abroad, it's always helpful to have an updated degree plan so that you can be working toward your graduation requirements. You can always talk with me, the Education Abroad Advisor, professors, other Drake students who have studied abroad and returned. There are great resources as well. And then thinking about discussing and reviewing finances. So depending on if you work with family members or others to help pay for the cost of your education, it might be worth reviewing finances of study abroad with them as well. All right, and I'm already to the last slide. So I'm not sure if anyone has questions related to financial aid and scholarships with study abroad. All right, it doesn't sound like there are any questions.